My Vampire Brother's Keeper, Chapter 4. The Inquisition says I'm a vampire. I went to Ignacio's house to gossip about the stranger while drinking tea, and we sat in the porch overlooking the gardens, and we stopped our gossiping when we took notice of Laura, and she had come out carrying a tray of biscuits, and she lingered a little since she too wanted to participate in the conversation. And Laura had silky, pearly skin, black hair, and brown eyes with long eyelashes, and her thick eyebrows were a little too big and expressive, and she was still as skinny as a twig, but she had gotten taller, way taller, and we were now the same height. Was the vampire able to enter the church? Asked Laura, sitting beside her brother, and she had a thing for the occult. Yes, or did you not notice him? I asked. I wasn't paying much attention, although I did notice him on my way out. He is very blond, commented Laura, but he isn't pretty. His face is just swollen from the beating he got, I mused, and we won't know if he's pretty or not until he heals up. Maybe he won't recover his looks if he had any, mused Ignacio. Not that he needs them if he's as rich as he claims to be. The Inquisition probably confiscated all of his goods, I mused. The money he had in his person is probably all he has left. He probably has a hidden stash somewhere, said Ignacio. All rich guys have a hidden stashes. And he scratched the back of his hair nervously, and he always did that whenever he felt guilty about something he did. In the last 5 days, we had spent all the money we had pilfered from the stranger. What color are his eyes? Are they red? Asked Laura. I didn't get a good look at them, and they were hidden beneath his sun hat, I explained. They are clear, maybe blue or green. Did he take communion? Insisted Laura. Yes, both the host and the wine, I said. How disappointing, said Laura, twisting her skinny frame side to side in an over-exaggerated posture. Because she's asking us to see if he was really a vampire. Because if he's a vampire, if he be a vampire, why doesn't he have red? Like, why was he able to do communion, you know? He is weak to sunlight, I said, and he got a sunburn really quickly after half an hour. Good, good. So maybe he is a real vampire after all, said Laura, smiling happily. And can you take this mirror and see if he has a reflection? And while you're at it, deliver the letter I gave you. Yes, I said, taking the mirror. And as I touched the mirror, Laura's silky finger caressed mine. And I felt my face getting hot for reasons I am too immature to understand. And with a steady step, I made my way towards the clinic, and outside the clinic, Dorothy and Saran were bickering in a language I did not understand. And from time to time, Saran would point at a nearby window, and I guess that this was the patient's bedroom, so I looked within. And the patient was lying on the bed, and his exposed hand had a wet towel. And a nurse entered within to change the towel for a cool new one. And as soon as I left, I entered within, and the face was still a swollen mess, but the full lips looked unnaturally red. The red lips open. If you had come to finish what you started, be quick about it, said the stranger. I haven't the energy to struggle against my fate. Do what you must. I am not your pursuer, I said meekly. I don't care who you are, just do what you want and leave me alone. I'm busy, said the stranger, opening up a piercing green eye. The other swollen eye was hidden beneath an eye patch. Busy doing what? Doing what? I asked, looking about. The eye closed again, and then he said, mind your own business. Can you tell me your name? Just one would do. You don't have to tell me your last name if you don't want to, I insisted. Valerio, said Valerio after a long pause. Don't call me Valerio. And why are your ears so pointy? I asked, noticing his unusually shaped ears. The better to hear you with, my dear, said Valerio, quoting the Little Red Riding Hood. And your teeth, I asked, drawing closer, and from where I stood, it seemed to me that Valerio had quite the pronounced canines. The better to eat you with, my dear, joked Valerio, opening his mouth big and wide. Those fangs were simply ghastly, and closer I drew like a jeweler examining a new gem. And it was then when something unexpected happened. Valerio drew me into his embrace, and I trembled for him to go as I felt the hot breath near my neck. And just as swiftly he pushed me back with his good hand, and the rosy mouth opened again to laugh bitterly. I am done playing my part. Stay, go, I don't care, said Valerio, closing his eyes to pretend to be asleep. I stood still, uncertain about the situation, and remembering the mirror, I brought out the compass from my pocket, and I saw Valerio's face reflected in the mirror, and other than the pointy ears and the sharp teeth, there was nothing else vampiric about him, although he did have a pretty good strong grip, and he was also weak to sunlight. Then again, most Europeans cannot handle the Caribbean sun. Dr. Ciaran entered the room with a bowl of soup, and I smiled gleefully, seeing that it had garlic, and he brought out a spoon before placing it near Valerio's face, and Valerio curled his mouth into a grimace, refusing to eat the garlic soup. Dr. Ciaran said something I did not understand, and based on his annoyed expression, I guess he was cursing, and I left the bedroom, but I stopped midway down the hallway, and I removed my shoes to tiptoe my way back, and I peeped my head ever so slowly, and much to my surprise, Valerio was meekly eating the garlic soup. Although based on his expression, I fancied that he disliked either the taste or the smell. And I wore my shoes before running back to Ignacio's farm, and I was delighted to see Laura sitting there beside her brother, patiently waiting for the news. And once I caught my breath, I said, "He has a reflection, and he isn't weak to garlic, and he even ate a soup made from the stuff." "This bestiary is useless," said Laura, closing her book in a huff. "What did you expect, sister? It is centuries old, and by then people thought that the earth was flat," said Ignacio, resting his head on his hand. "You can't assume that just because a book is old, it's inaccurate," mused Laura, caressing her dusty old book lovingly. "Don't let it get to you, Laura, and maybe the information in the book only relates to Romanian vampires," I said, looking at the name of the author of the book. "And the way some people are allergic to peanuts, some vampires are actually strong to garlic. And it is a big world filled with all types of individuals." "Yeah, maybe you're right. And can you find out what country he hails from, and what is he allergic to as well?" said Laura. "You aren't planning to hunt him, are you, Laura?" I asked, pouting. "The dog hasn't done anything to anyone that didn't deserve it." "Not as far as you know, but you know, the book says that if you feel a heavy pressure over your chest while you sleep, it is probably the vampire. And I had a sensation like that the night before the stranger showed up," mused Laura. And we rolled our eyes incredulous, and it became pretty obvious to me that Laura desperately wanted Valerio to be a vampire. Why she wanted this to be truthful was a matter of debate, and even so, I was one to always indulge her wild fancies. And I returned to the clinic with Ignacio, and he wasn't too humorous about the possibility of a vampire pressuring his sister, and whatever the hell that meant. And we took the book and a list of questions we needed the vampire to answer. And we found the man getting his hair combed by Dr. Ciaran, and apparently Valerio was the doctor's new pet project. "Leave the man alone," said Ciaran, turning around. "We didn't do nothing," said Ignacio defensively, "but my sister said that she felt a heavy pressure on her chest on the night before this guy turned up, so you think that he has something to do with your sister's sleep paralysis? Poppycock. You wouldn't know a real spell if it was happening right in front of you," said Ciaran, giving a cynical smile. "And I take it you're a magic expert as well, doctor," barked Ignacio. "I am well read, and let's just leave it at that. And you, stop telling people that you're a vampire," said Ciaran, before passing the hairbrush through the silky hair a little too hard. And I could tell because the blonde head jerked back a little, and Ciaran, feeling sorry, petted the area he had accidentally pulled, and he proceeded to comb the hair more slowly, more deliberately. "I never told anyone I was a vampire. I simply told that fool that I was believed to be a vampire and a witch." "You forgot the witch part as well. And the fact that he so readily believed that I was a monster tells me everything that I need to know about Ambrosio and the thieving company he keeps," said Valerio bitterly. I'm sorry, I said, feeling ashamed. Ignacio lowered his hat before saying, I never believed for a moment that you were a vampire. I was simply going along with it because this idiot was so certain about it. It isn't my fault that I was born with pointed ears and big canines. Lots of human are born malformed and they also get treated like monsters. But if you ask me, cruel-hearted creatures like you are the true monsters in this story, said Valerio before giving me a cold glance with his piercing green eyes. I returned with Ignacio to his house and we told Lara the grim tidings. The doctor had forbidden us from calling his patient a vampire, and if we did it again, he was going to talk to our parents. And without warning, we stopped saying the word vampire for the time being. And with nothing new to talk about, Lara brought out a chess set and she played with her brother while I read the bestiary entries about vampires. Maybe he's a vampire, a half vampire if you would, I said thoughtfully. And this would explain why he has a reflection. Oh, for crying out loud, said Ignacio, rolling his eyes. Let's give the subject matter a rest already. Look, there he goes, said Laura, standing up. Stop pointing, that's rude, sister, said Ignacio, lowering his sister's hand. And why are you obsessed with a stranger anyway? Do you like him? According to this bestiary, vampires have that effect on fragile-minded women, I said dryly. They use their charm to make their victims more willing to get bitten. Who are you calling stupid? Barked Laura, hitting me with one of the pillows. My apologies, I meant nothing by it. The book also says that they can hex virgin women into submission. You are still, I asked thoughtlessly. You are walking on thin ice. You have been warned, said Laura, reaching for something heavy. Look, Laura, the vampire is waving at us. Say hello, said Ignacio, trying to distract his sister to defuse the situation. Hello, Mr. Dampier, said Laura, waving. Valerio turned his head without saying anything, and he simply continued on his way while a nurse pushed a wheelchair. The nurse stopped and she gestured for me to come over. I am needed at the clinic, lied Dorothy, and can you take Blondie to see Galleira? Why, I asked. I wasn't looking at visiting the bastard who tried to enslave Santiago. Do you really want to go there, I asked. Yes, I wish to send properly the man who tried to save this... I want to say properly the man who tried to save this miserable hide, said Valerio sadly. And I found it interesting that he didn't refer to the black man as a slave. I also saved you, said Ignacio. Thank you. And once I'm more recuperated, I can get you more money, said Valerio dryly. And how much money do you think your life is worth? Asked Ignacio. My life is worthless. And you, what do you want as recompense? Asked Valerio. I want you to be my friend, I said candidly, smiling candidly. Friendship isn't demanded, it is earned, and I will give you your weight in gold split between the three of you. But for now, I need someone to take me to the Galleira farm, insisted Valerio. That's the end of that one. Bye-bye and God bless.